Hey guys, Spin here. So in today's video, I'd like to share my thoughts on waifu culture because I feel like a lot of toxic traits hide under the guise of everything being a big joke. And the way that we're going to do this video is a little bit different than my other videos. Normally, I have a script for my videos, but I'm having the hardest time with a script for this one. And I think it would be a lot easier, especially because this video is taking forever to write and record, to just share my thoughts. So join me in what will be a crazy roller coaster ride of me stumbling over my own words. Oh, and waifus too. All right, let's just get into it. So for those that don't know, a waifu, or alternatively husbando, is a character that one is very greatly connected to in one way or another, either just emotionally or sometimes even romantically. And in the community, I feel like this term is thrown around rather loosely, and because of that, there's a lot that can be hidden amongst the noise. When I had a script, in it, I gave a brief story about how back in high school, I had really intense emotions for Raven from Teen Titans. Who didn't, right? And I kind of weighed the pros and cons of that. One distinct memory, though, from that time, there was an instance where I was talking to another student about Teen Titans, and I had said that I love Raven from Teen Titans. I love her. And they went, "Yeah, she's pretty cool, man. I love her too." And I said, No. I don't think you understand. You see, I love her. And they said, "Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I love her too. I think she's great. She's probably pretty up there on my list of favorite character." And I said, No. And it just went like that until it got awkward, which was immediately, but you know what I mean. And I think about that situation, and I think about the discourse that we have online, and I think about how it's really easy for any fan of anything to say, "Oh my god, I love this character," and it's really hard to decipher what it is that they're referring to. Do you mean that you love them like, "Oh, I love them, they're great," or like, "I love them romantically and I want to marry them"? And I feel like if that exists in that part of the culture, where else does that lie? Or alternatively, I feel like people assume that everyone is on the same page. So one person will say, "I love this character," and they mean romantically. And the other person will say, "I love them too," and they mean like platonically, like it's just their favorite character. And by doing that, assuming that everyone is on the same page, the person that's doing it platonically is kind of enabling the person that is doing it romantically. Approved. And so this begs the next question. Well, Spin, what do you have? Why do you have a problem with people liking characters romantically? Like, what's wrong with having a waifu as a actual girlfriend or boyfriend? What's the problem with that? Being a person that has done this, it has not set me up for success in the dating realm at all. With all of the various waifus that I've had, everything was based on a fantasy. And you get to skip a lot of the important developmental steps to having a real partner. You don't have to do the trial and error of trying to figure out her quirks because the show tells you them already. Or you can just go on Google and read everything about them, and it's not creepy because she's not real. The whole thing is built in your mind. So you can kind of jump over all of the hard parts of having to figure out who she is and what her beliefs are and trying to make sure you have money for dates. You can skip to the part where you're already married, have 3 kids, and live in the suburbs with your white picket fence. Like, you can just jump straight to the end. And when or if a person decides to actually get into the dating field, they may have these romantic ideas of what happens once they've gotten that person to agree to be their partner. But all the stuff that happens before then is a big mystery. You also don't have to fight with her. There's no arguments about anything because you've created this perfect world. She's going to agree with everything that you say because you're in control of your own fantasy, right? So how do you handle being in the real world, trying to date a real person, and you say, I think this, I want to do that, I'm feeling this way, and then she disagrees with you? I just don't feel like engaging in this type of behavior and activity for too long is healthy for anyone. If eventually getting into the real dating field is something that they want to do. Or alternatively, if you're in this position because being in the dating field is something you have already done, and you're here because perhaps there are feelings of hopelessness or the pain just is too overwhelming, I can understand wanting to escape into a waifu situation because I've done that too. But I don't feel like hiding from your feelings forever is the way to go about it. There are good people out there that will treat you with the respect that you deserve. But I think we're all hiding. And I think that our attention has moved away from real people because we've been hurt, and we have directed it towards anime and video game characters and all other forms of media. But speaking in that fictional type of sense, when I was younger, I started to really think about this false relationship that I had with whatever waifu I was having at the time. And it's a lot of really fascinating concepts that I'd like to share with you. For context, I need you guys to know that when I was, quote, dating a waifu, I took it very seriously. It was 100% a replacement for an actual human partner. And so there was a lot of very real emotions that were involved. But I started to become kind of critical of it. I mean, you have to think, if you're trying to take a relationship with a fictional character seriously, you have such little control over that situation. Like, if they decide that they want the character to take some kind of different direction that does not do it for you, what then? Like, then a company's decision would have shattered your relationship, would have changed the core being of the character that you fell in love with. That hurts. If you were more of the insecure type, like me, everyone having their own headcanon becomes incredibly hard to hear because they think that Raven should be shipped with Beast Boy, or they think Raven should be over here, over there. She should be in all of these different things because everyone has their own ideas and opinions, and that kind of upsets your understanding and your connection to the character, and it hurts. Not to mention that with the way that the internet is with certain things like the dreaded H word, if you are trying to have a traditional relationship with a fictional character, that's tough. That's kind of have to just accept the fact that if you're taking everything as canon, your waifu's, well,
she belongs to the streets.
But going back to the critical questions, like, there's a lot to think about with that, because does the artist count as their dad? Does the company that owns the media that she's from, do they count as her dad? What does a meet the parent situation when dating a waifu look like? Another thing too is the voice. I remember struggling when I liked Raven from Teen Titans because Raven is voiced by Tara Strong. And Tara Strong is a beautiful woman, but definitely not someone that I, as an individual, would be attracted to. Also, she's a mom with kids, and like, that's weird to me, right? Like, no. But I loved Raven, right? Well, Raven's voiced by Tara Strong. And then I ended up in this logic loop of like, well, you like Raven, her voice is by Tara Strong. So by extension, you like Tara Strong, but I don't like Tara Strong, and it would be weird if I did, but I like Raven, and Raven's voiced by Tara Strong, and rinse and repeat. I know that most people would say, well, you like the character as a whole. And that is true, but you can't bring the character into reality, because if you bring it into reality and try to deconstruct it, it's really hard. It's like the wizard behind the curtain moment. Another kind of critical question is that she's not going to age with you. Cartoons and animation, I don't think age up that much. So you fell in love with this character and, you know, they were 18 and you were 18, 19, whatever. If you maintain this relationship with this character for so many years, they're always going to be 18. And even if the show or the movie or the game continues, you're going to be 20, 21 years old so many years down the line, and they're still going to be 18, 19, which admittedly isn't far off, but just keep that train going and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just things to think about, right? And that's just for the people that are taking it seriously. My concern with the people that joke about it is, what are you teaching yourself? What kind of behaviors are we enabling under the guise of it being a joke? Now, I'm not trying to come in here and be like, oh, well, Spin hates fun. He's just trying to rain on our parade. I'm not trying to get that. And I know that it's a joke, and I don't have any specific problems with joking. But in my experience, sometimes people will take the fact that it's a joke and use that as an excuse to enable not great behavior. I also feel like the content of the joke, when joked about too much, normalizes that type of talk. So I feel like some of the conversation around waifu culture has gotten a little bit deeper into the sexual end of these types of jokes. And I feel like the more that we joke about it and are kind of meh about it, the more that we just are kind of enabling and normalizing that speech. And we're gonna need to find new jokes at some point. We want something that's edgier, that's flashier, something that hits a little bit different, something that's a little more shocking. And I'm worried that as time goes on, we're not going to be able to find that thing because we've already pushed it too far. And the kind of backlash and damage that comes with moving in that direction, if that makes any sense. So that's my concern. Jokes are fine. I understand that not everybody takes everything as seriously as I do. And I understand that everyone has different levels with which they can handle things. I just think that being a little more cautious of the phrases and words and jokes that we use and how we use them is important. And I think that applies to everything, but specifically in the waifu space. What are you teaching yourself? What are you teaching your peers? What are you teaching your community? I think those are important questions to ask yourself. But if you made it to the end of this video, you're a legend. And I can't thank you enough because this is way off track for what I normally do. I apologize that this video took so long. I was really trying to find a way to deliver this with a script like I normally do, but I really do feel like we'll see how this video does. I think that me being able to just speak my thoughts on it kind of openly was the better way to go about it, because I didn't know how to format it, and I didn't really want to spend a lot of time re-explaining things that I think that people already know. And yeah, don't forget to spin dash that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. Like this video too, to tell YouTube, hey, I like this. And if you have anything that you'd like to say in regards to this, leave a comment in the comment section down below. I would absolutely love to have this conversation, this debate with you guys. And I will see you in the next one. Later, dudes.